day. Hello, and welcome back to another team profile and projection here on Talking Baseball. We're talking about your Seattle Mariners, who you guys at home ranked to be the 11th best team in Major League Baseball this year. Last year, they finished third in the AL West, 2 games behind the division. Missed the postseason. Tough break. They were third in runs allowed per game. Pretty good. Jake, what did this team do? Who'd they get rid of? Who'd they add?
Seattle Mariners, notorious for doing stuff, man. And we did some stuff. We brought in Mitch Garver, World Series hero. Mitch Garver, we think he's going to get kind of full run at the DH because he's been hitting these past couple years. Jorge Polanco, been on the trade block forever, it feels like. He'll go over to Seattle. Luke Raley kind of broke out last year. He'll find a way in the outfield. Mitch Haniger, kind of the opposite. Broke out with Seattle. He's back after a pit stop in San Francisco. Gregory Santos, a nice little add in that bullpen. Urias finds a way. Sebi Zavala, couple other bodies that you'll probably see interacting with this roster, including Cole Tucker, our guy, sexy. Got a good picture of him. We'll probably send to Beebs to put in this later. Who they lost? Teoscar getting grouchy for the Dodgers this year. Tom Murphy, you know I've dove into his stats, and they're actually pretty good. Robbie Reyes out. Got the big contract. TJ, see ya. Eugenio Suarez, man in the hot corner. He gone. Justin Topa pitched some good innings in that pen. Kelnick in the outfield. Marco Gonzalez, kind of a staple in Seattle for a while now. A couple other familiar bodies for that organization. They're gone. So a lot of in, a lot of out. How does our Seattle Mariners lineup look in 2024, Trev?
We've been talking about some teams as of late that don't really have a set lineup. I think the Seattle Mariners are, save a few spots, pretty set on what's going to happen there. There's some corner issues, but other than that, they got it going on, man. J.P. Crawford, best statistical season of his career. Went to Driveline, fixed some things, had a great season. He's the de facto captain, if you will. Great hair, great choice in music. He makes tri-tip. Not as good as mine, but he makes tri-tip. Julio Rodriguez. You guys know who this guy is. Hot boy to the max. Contract. Can ball out. People are expecting Ronald Acuna 2023 for Julio Rodriguez 2024. So that's always nice. Jorge Polanco will be the second baseman. Seattle Mariners fans, you've already heard me talk about how much I love this guy. You are going to adore him. He's the best. Love me some Polo. Mitch Garvey, you mentioned he'll be full-time DH. Cal Raleigh will be behind the dish, hitting bombs with that big old butt of his. Ty France at first base. A lot of people talking about bounce-back season for old Ty the Frenchman. I believe it. Luke Raley, left field. Could you platoon him? Possibly. I really like this guy, what he brings out there, though. Mitch Haniger is going to be playing in the outfield somewhere as well. And then the corner infield, third base, going to be interesting. Josh Rojas, could he be the guy? Luis Urias, could he be the guy? On the bench, Dominic Canzone. Canzone or Canzoni? I should look that up. Canzone.
E.
He'll be starting games in the corner outfield last year, or at some point during the year. I saw him last year. Big old forearms on the guy. He's got some pop. He can really do some things out there. Also, utility infielder Dylan Moore will be in the mix. Sebi Zavala, backup catcher. Other names to watch: Brian Anderson, Michael Chavis out here. Cole Tucker, as we mentioned. Cade Marlowe. Is he the one with the big forearms? No, I might have messed that up.
Oh, boy.
He might be the forearm guy, but they got options. They got depth. I like this lineup a lot. James, we know we like in this rotation. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the rotation is a bunch of names we like, and it's a bunch of returnees. You didn't lose much. So many teams that we've done recently up until this point have lost major innings and results. And for the Mariners, they really like their rotation, and they are here to stay. Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Bryce Miller at the 4, Brian Wu is there, names to watch, Emerson Hancock. Yeah. And then in the bullpen, you got Andres Muniz, Matt Brash, Gregory Santos, Austin Voth, Gabe Spire, Trent Thornton, Taylor Saucedo, and Jackson Kowar, and anyone else they just like put back there and becomes a guy. I like the rotation. I don't know if we want to start there, but I think I like the top 3 in this rotation just as much as the top 3 in baseball with Castillo, Gilbert, and Kirby. I like watching them pitch just as much as I enjoy the results that they get. Like I think they're a crisp game in a way. I'm interested to see Bryce Miller. He's got the splitter now that he's throwing. I don't know how often he's going to throw a splitter, but I'd be more interested if he was working on a sinker or cutter, to be honest. A pitch that he can really throw for a bigger percentage, because his fastball is it's there to be hit, basically. And he had 3 good games and it got hit. So I like that he's working on new pitches, but a splitter isn't a pitch that you use a ton. It's like a once every now and then pitch. So he's a question mark for me because I think he's got an electric arm. If he can get the ball to dance a little more, then their top 4 is really good.
Before I go into the starting pitching, it is Cade Marlowe with the forearms. I'm sorry, a West Georgia guy. So obviously he has big forearms. I've been public in saying this. I think it's the best starting 5 rotation in baseball from top to bottom. I think they have the best stuff. I think they're the most reliable. If I had to choose 1 through 5, this is the rotation I would take. I saw these guys live in person. They can really do it. Miller's fastball can play. It's about location with him. Yes, he does need some secondary pitches, which he's developing, which I really like. So they have that. They have been a reliever factory of some sorts, adjusting repertoire, pitch scripts, all these different things. When they bring guys over to fix them, their bullpen's going to be great. It has been great. It will be great. This is a team. I mean, this is a playoffs or bust team. For sure. I mean, you mentioned 88 wins last year. They didn't make the playoffs. There were some things said at the end of the year by Big Dumper talking about, they should have went a little bit more all in like the Rangers did. So like there's a chip on this team's shoulder. Like we think we're just as good as these other teams in our division. They're talking about the Rangers. They're talking about the Astros, but they were left out of the dance last year by a couple games. So that's all it is here now. And I love that we're able to say that kind of like year in and year out now with the Mariners, like playoffs or bust. If you don't make the playoffs, you're disappointed. And that's 100% how this team is. I've actually really liked the moves they've made in this offseason.
And they missed the playoffs by a game or 2. They traded away Paulie Sewald at the deadline. He ends up in the World Series.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of the glass half full, glass half empty that runs into with all these teams. And again, I'll do, Jake for clicks. I think this team goes as far as Julio takes them. We've got some first half, second half stats from last year, and he's done that both years. He's been a elite second half player, OPS in the 9s. First half, both years, OPS in the 7s. So is it the chilly weather in Seattle? Is it just, adjusting to each major league season or whatever it is? If he puts together 2 second halves, he might win the damn MVP, especially with the AL cleared out this year. And he could do that, right? He's Julio Rodriguez. He's still crazy young. I love that Seattle's adopted him and he's adopted Seattle, like 23 years old. He's all over the airport when we went there for the All-Star game. Like, he is Seattle. And he might just MVP it up. And I think we talk about, a 3-year window for these Seattle Mariners that we kind of thought was already happening. But then they kind of get punched in the mouth last year and they just missed the playoffs. That, I don't know. I start going into, with my glass half empty, like, this team pitched a lot last year. They were 4th in ERA for starting pitching and relief pitching. They were 1st in WHIP for starters. Like, they got a really good effort from their starters last year. So they should get that again this year. The world of baseball can happen quick on them. That what is the offense going to do over 162. Is it better? Like Teoscar and Eugenio were good. They just struck out a lot. I like Polanco, but you also got kind of record years out of J.P. Crawford, who hopefully that becomes his norm. You got Cal Raleig's best year. Hopefully that's his norm. But a lot of good happened last year that, again, it's how you look at it.
They finished one game out of a playoff spot last year, right behind the Toronto Blue Jays, who won 89 games. 2 games behind both Texas and Houston. Remember Houston ended up winning there. Alex Bregman gave the quote. The expectations are high, man. I know you're feeling the same way, James.
For the Mariners, yeah, I think the expectation. I think the fans should be very excited. This is a team that can compete and be in the mix. The same, they can run back last year. I think the offensive profile is different. I like that. As much as we give the front office shit, and for all the reasons they deserve it, 54%, and I'm not going to excuse them there. I do like that at least they had a direction. I don't know if I agree with it, but they clearly had a plan that they followed, so I can understand the logic. They wanted to change the offensive profile. Last year they were bottom 3% in strikeouts to at-bats, or they were bottom 5 in strikeouts to at-bats. And some other numbers like that, walk percentage, I had it up, I forget. But they wanted to change that. They got rid of guys that struck out at 30% clips. I mean, Kelnick gone, Suarez gone, didn't get Tavares back, and brought in guys that are marginally better. They didn't bring in guys that don't strike out ever. They just traded some 30% strikeout guys for 25%, which is still right around league average. But that was their plan. So I wonder if that does make the lineup better in this new baseball, where getting guys on base and putting the ball in play can help you significantly more than striking out a lot. 3 true outcome kind of is not here anymore. And then the pitching should get better. They should improve on the pitching, because I do think all those guys have live arms. You just got to work on pitch mix, and even Brian Wu. Is it Brian Wu?
My guy.
Even him, I just think some pitch mix or fastball changing. He upped his cutter by the end of last year a ton to not just be just a fastball guy. So I like them to repeat what they did. The Astros will be there and probably better, and maybe them and the Rangers are fighting. That's how I would predict it, similar to last year. Maybe not down to the wire, but I think they should be in it in September. On September 1st, I think they're going to be let's have a good month. We're fighting for a spot. And that should be exciting.
That's what I mean. I expect that to happen. If you give Mitch Garver a run and you say you're full-time DH, I know he did that for quite a bit last year for the Rangers. I think you mentioned they go as Julio goes. I think they go as some of these guys that they brought in. Garver's got to produce from that DH spot. We got to figure out some sort of situation in the corner outfield, a platoon split or whatever it is, but you got to have Haniger doing his thing. You got to put Raley in good positions to succeed. One of the young guys, Canzoni, has to step up. There's all these things that have to happen, but they're not crazy what ifs. These are all things that could easily happen. Then we're looking at a nice deep lineup with with what I say is the best rotation in baseball, and relievers that are going to get the job done for you. I mean, this is a team that could win the division. Two games out last year, and I know we always talk about the Astros and they're just a different type of team, and maybe they are. The Rangers just come off the World Series victory, so we kind of put these two teams on a different pedestal. The Mariners aren't that far behind those two teams at all. Really, when you break it down. So I know that Mariners fans and I have had our differences, and specifically I've been going after Seattle and their inability to pronounce big words. I don't know where that came from, but I'm feeling your team, Seattle. I'm on board with you there. And I'm watching Suits, and there's something about Seattle in that. So I'm all in on the Mariners this year.
Julio, have an April, dude. Career 665 OPS in April.
It's cold as shit, dude.
It's
Julio baby oil. That's what a lot of guys do.
Where?
Like literally rub your body in baby oil and then put your sleeves on, like your whole body, everywhere, Jake.
I feel like that'd be so gross.
I never did it. People do that.
What? How does that help?
It like just creates like a layer
Ew.
against the
Warm layer?
wind.
I think I naturally have that.
You just wear clothes. The oil helps to
That's what guys
close
do,
your,
guys. Don't-
the
don't
oil
come at
helps
me.
to
I don't
close
know.
your pores and insulate your body so you feel a bit more toasty. Ugh.
There you go.
Trev, you know who looked pretty good in that Mariners uni?
Matt Chapman.
Your buddy.
I know.
I mean, again, no shots fired at Josh Rojas, who's been a really solid MLB player, but you slide Matt Chapman into like the 6 hole, playing all-world defense.
Him and J.P. Crawford together.
Oh, God. Your left side of the infield. Seattle might let you back.
And just fingerprints all over. I'm high on these guys. I am. So, hopefully we've kind of been like all agreeing a little bit too much. I'm curious to see what you guys have there. I don't know if you want to break into the DraftKings Sportsbook over-under yet, Jake.
I mean, we might as well. I'm not sure what else truly has to be said. Seattle, it should be a fun year, and it's a fun time over at the DraftKings Sportsbook. They're missing their NBA action. I think there's some rumors Seattle might be getting back in the NBA game. I'm the guy to report that. DraftKings, they are giving you a bonus bet, a no-sweat bonus bet of up to $1,000 if you bet on the action. So if you get it right, good. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. If not, you get the bonus bet back in the amount up to $1,000. Minimum $5 deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code Talkin and get a no-sweat bet. That's promo code Talkin only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Your crown is yours.
88 games won last year. DraftKings Sportsbook has the over-under at 87.5. Did this team get half a game worse? I don't necessarily think so.
That's a tough line.
I'm going to start. I'm taking the over. I think this is a 90-win team. I think they make the playoffs. I think they're going to be close to the top of this division, if not winning it.
Do you have
So
the
I'm taking
AL
over.
West being 3 90-win teams?
Possibly. I think we see. I don't want to talk about other teams right now. I just like this team.
Okay.
Don't get me
I
going
respect
right now.
that. I really respect that.
If I had to guess how you were going to finish that sentence, I would guess you were going to say, I think we see Texas take a step back. But that's just a guess.
Yes.
Just a lot of context clues there. You gave enough words.
I can't say that about the Astros.
No.
They don't step back.
2-step.
What do you got, Jake?
I am going under. I will always believe in Houston because you have to. 7 straight ALCSs. Although we're not talking about other teams, so what am I even doing? No, for me, I have some questions. I have more questions about the lineup, and I'm a lineup guy. Like Mitch Garver, we haven't seen like a full season of Mitch Garver DH. Maybe it happens. Jorge Polanco, I love Jorge Polanco. We've seen a lot of guys go over to Seattle, and it's never been a hitter's ballpark. Like even Teoscar last year, like it took a while for him to get going. That I'm worried that the middle end part of that lineup could start feeling thinnish if a couple things don't click. And as much as I love the rotation and they tap into a different bullpen guy every year, it seems like, man, with the Rangers and Astros, I do believe, and I kind of don't believe in Seattle's front office and how they approach things, that if push comes to shove, I don't know if I believe them making the all-in move or whatever may be necessary to win the West. So it's a good line. Unfortunately, I'm going to take the under.
Jorge Polanco, career 921 OPS at T-Mobile Park in Seattle.
Hello. Over. No, I'm saying under.
Bring up a good point about, like, I fully expect the Rangers and the Astros to go get the help they need at the deadline, and I have no faith in the Mariners doing that. They've traded away a bunch of times when they're in it. Remember they traded Graveman? in the division? And they're in it? Last year they
Yes.
traded Seawald? Fuck. Jake won me over with his point there.
No.
Take the under.
Trev, Seattle.
You know what? It's not against the team or
you
the
love
fans.
their pitching.
I like the top three.
Okay.
I like the top three.
Okay.
I forgot that I need to see Bryce Miller throw a different pitch.
Bryce Miller.
If Matt Chapman signs, do you guys care at all? Does it change your mind?
I think it actually would.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it would, because my whole thing was kind of middle of the lineup depth and a plus defender, and you're just telling that team
We care.
We're not second
Rangers
fiddle
are
to
World Series
Houston.
hangover. They're not going to go all out 2 years in a row. You know that's not how teams operate anymore.
Dude, they've already gone all out.
Yeah, but you're saying adding more at the deadline to like they're not doing that again.
Yeah, but what if they add DeGrom, Scherzer, and Molly at the deadline, who they've already resigned? We're
Don't-
not
stop-
talking
stop
about them.
refuting my point.
We're not talking about them, dude.
Go Mariners.
See you guys later.
Exclusive.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Just clicked on Texas's lineup.
They're a good team.
Evan Carter.
Oh, I forgot about Evan Carter. Shoot. East Tennessee boy.
Hmm.
Him,
That's what
Morgan Wallen, and me.
That's what Mariners fans want to hear at the end of their TPP. Oh, Evan Carter.